in terms of like what was going on in Tommy's mind. After they went camping is when after he went camping and then after Candy and Norm left the house is when he bought that thing. He bought a truck and a trailer. Okay, so I'm assuming he never intended to travel around with Barbara because they never once did. Okay, so I don't know if he thought he. It's my understanding that she told him she was going to be dead in a year or something, right? So he actually believed her. He thought that she was going to just pass away and then he'd go live in these various places. Okay, so is that what people have been doing? I was trying to figure out what he probably got for Social Security because he did work, and apparently, right, you, I don't know if people realize that. That's why there's alimony because I have nothing in a Social Security fund. I have literally no way to live. Okay, so anyways, you don't get as much money even when you're disabled because you didn't work, and that makes sense to people when you won't give us the housing. Right. I'm sure it made sense when we were also getting public housing because we paid 30% or nothing for the housing and then we got the smaller disabled money. Okay, so nothing about your system and what you're doing is fair. It's just horrifyingly insane. It's just difficult to just, that's why people smoke and take drugs and drink, right? Just the rage is just overwhelming sometimes and just it's like a sadness when people are so grossly bad and yeah, like it's not like we want to birthday cake you, but right, it's just you're so bad, it's like sad and gross. It's destructive to the soul and the mind just being around people that horrifyingly bad. So because that is why you keep a system. That is why you keep a system. You want to do things other people can't do because otherwise, what's the point of doing anything and what's the point of life? That's how you talk. Why should we have to work and then these people get what we get? That's what you say. That makes sense to you in your horrifying insanity. Like, what are you saying? You want to work or you don't want to work? You can't have a system, okay, where everyone is driving an RV around and then there's other people providing you services. You can't have that. Yeah, exactamundo. So you're horrifyingly deranged. You're just as bad as the people that are taking these vouchers and not paying a penny, and they're still using all the world system. Because now you people have set up an entire thing where someone like me can't even afford to just pitch a tent somewhere. Okay, so you're responsible, like it's like a cost of living thing that you've created. State parks are doing it. Thanksgiving, $75 a night in a cabin. Private campgrounds are putting water slides and swimming pools in, and you pay thousands upon thousands of dollars to camp there. Everybody's putting a parking spot in a forest or a desert for you to pull these RVs onto. Right? Thanksgiving. Brian just said Thanksgiving. So you're responsible for it. Okay? Once somebody thinks they can make money off of something, then they do it, and then you all copy each other, and you're all living on mad cash where you're getting like 8 grand a year to live on. I just looked it up. You get $4,000 a month because you worked, and then you can also get disability and all this other crap, money you saved or whatever. It's just it's utterly disgusting. In order to even do that, you have to purchase a car because you've either got to pull the thing or you've got to get one of those ones that drives, which I'm sure is more. Al and I looked at them years ago, the big ones that you drive. It's the cost of a house, and you just go, "What is this?" It never even like really rained, but it's supposed to rain about 11 for like 2 hours. It's gonna rain heavy supposedly. So I explained the thing about it's like $900 a month if you get approved, and then if you're married, the maximum is 1,400. I know you just go, okay. No one's renting an apartment on that. Not around here. Okay. And then apparently things that used to be dirt cheap because nobody wanted to live like that, people are preying upon the destitute and they're going to cost $1 million too. I was just joking with Brian. Is that thunder? I was just joking with Brian. It's not even a joke, right? They know all of it. They know what the DTA cash is. They know what the Social Security checks are. They will look up and see what the voucher allotment is, and they'll make an apartment $1 more than that, so you can't get it because they're monstrously insane, just like you people. So now you all are like financing RVs because you probably have houses, right? So you have credit. It's not you don't even it's not even about bad credit anymore. I've already did a thing where I tested it and applied for stuff and was denied. Right. Even on our income, you should be able to get a basic credit card. You can't because I don't own a piece of property. Test it out. See if you can get financing for something when you don't already own a house because you're batshit insane. That's what like a monkey would think. You don't have a tree, so you can't get stuff and you can't wander around on your own. You're most definitely not doing regular United States of America anymore at all. I don't think you have any understanding for what you're doing if you had to explain it. You just look at us and go, "What are you talking about?" That's what you do. "What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. That's weird." Yeah. Yep. Well, it does answer my question from before. If she actually took on his payments or refinanced the thing, like he owed $10,000 on that thing. He must have been paying like a lot in interest or something. Do you know that I've never seen the inside of that trailer? At least 4 years I lived where that trailer was, and I've never seen the inside of it. Just some of the stuff that she did when Tommy died was like so bizarre. She took all of his property when she didn't live there. You're not supposed to do that. It's supposed to go to the morgue with the body, and then it goes into probate and all that stuff. Um, she took the keys to the truck and the trailer and refused to give any of it back. And she had keys to the house I was living in. Okay. I've never seen the inside of that trailer. I probably would have gone into it to see what it looked like after he died. Just, hey, I know you're destitute and you're going to be on the street because he just dropped dead. Can I give my son that I didn't talk to for 6 months and he just came wandering around again and has Social Security and is running a business this time? Can I give him that trailer? That's not even my trailer to give away. Like, you will take it all. Yup, you will take it all. Believe me. And she did. Apparently, she packed up the whole house and put it in pods. That woman is never going to get released from piles of junk because her children are that sick. Tommy did the same thing. He packed up a literal trash with the moving company and left all my belongings there to be thrown in a dumpster and moved it to that house. I saw the stuff stacked up in shelves in the basement. And he goes, "Did you know that all that stuff in her room was trash?" Yeah, I did know that. You people kept me in a room filled with boxes of this woman's trash. I do know that. Yep. I do know that. You wouldn't let Michael and Karen come live there. I do know that. Yep. And then your sister came and did it again. Anyway, Alfred did it too, you know. It's just part of some horrifying derangement. It's some horrifying derangement where you kick me out of where I am and you steal all my property and throw it in the trash because you're mentally insane. Anyway, that was thunder. So anyway, there's got to be a way that my husband and I will be able to live. We had a discussion, so we're both sort of hopeful that I'll finally be approved for Social Security, given my declining medical condition and my mental health, and just the insanity of it all. How do you expect a person to live, okay, and not getting the? I don't care if it's illegally or not. People are people. So you took away this woman's house, which was her nest egg. You took away her children, her child support, and her alimony. She doesn't get Social Security when she reaches an age because she didn't work. That's why she was supposed to get alimony, and that's why she's supposed to get half of this man's Social Security when he retires or dies. Okay? How do you expect her to live? Okay. So, anyways, we're hopeful that I'll be approved, and he will probably be approved too because he has traumatic brain injury. It's different from when he applied a year ago. So hopefully, two disabled people will have a way to live um, and not be told to sit up in a chair all night at a shelter being murdered slowly by insane criminals. And then people act like God Almighty won't extinct you for it, or you don't care anymore. You know He's doing it, so why be good at all? There you go. Thank you for admitting that you're amoral. Okay. That's not what life is. That's not how other people are. That's not why other people follow your laws. Just so you know, it's not a struggle in the head where we're afraid to go to jail or be socially accepted. Okay. It's just, we just don't have those thoughts like you do. We just absolutely do not have those thoughts like you do. There's not all this like crazy and illegal and amoral shit I want to do at all. I didn't want to do it, but I mean, at this point, I guess you start looking to see if you. But now it's probably too late because all of the invaders already did this shit. People that are not my species already did all this shit. Where you go, is there a tiny sliver of land I can buy and just pay the taxes on, and then wherever it is, they'll tell me I can't have a tent or a trailer, right? That's what they're gonna do now. Yep. Probably. They have probably bought up every land four times over that they have no right to sell or buy, by the way. And then they turn them into trailer parks or campgrounds. That's probably what has happened. Anything like that where people renounced or they got foreclosed, okay, they probably turned all that shit into trailer parks and private campgrounds. So apparently we'll all be subject to it. We'll all be subject to it until they finally keel over and die. Until they finally, I mean, once you get a lung cancer, They're just going to keel over and die. All ages. Bloop, 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 bloop. Mass extinction. Because everybody's social media is controlled and the mass media is controlled, you don't even know how many people have cancer and are actively dying. You don't know that because they're keeping you in a delusion and they're keeping you calm and contained. And they will keep chugging along like that guy with the cart who said, I was just pushing my cart 2 days ago and now I'm about to die. And then he had the thing in his nose and then he died. Some people have misconceptions about cancer. Someone who has cancer told me, she just goes, I still can't believe I have cancer. Like, I don't even feel sick. I think she said, I feel a little bit tired. Some of that was probably stress from finding out you have cancer. Like, it's the treatment that makes you sick until it's the point where you're going to die. It's the treatment that makes you sick. You're not going to know you have it. So, anyways, I got 128 days till my cruise vacation, which is 11 nights. So that will be paid off by the 20. No, that's going to be paid off the second I get back to Quincy Center because I haven't been to the bank. Yep. The second I put that money in my bank account, I'm paying off my cruise. I only owe $200 on it. And that's with gratuities. I already have the train purchased to get there. So, other than excursions, because we don't drink alcohol, we're not getting the drink package. If you don't buy anything, you have no charges on your account. Okay, so that's already done. On the 23rd of August, that was paid off. So now I've got an extra 100. He's getting paid on the second, so he's going to give me another 100 because we figured out what we've been able to live on because he doesn't smoke marijuana anymore. We're both realizing how much money he was spending on marijuana and probably maybe shopping on Amazon too. Okay. So, because he smokes what's called CBD, which is supposedly doesn't have THC in it because the doctor told him it's bad for his brain. And he isn't even smoking that much of that stuff recently, I've noticed. Because it's not marijuana, I think he doesn't like keep smoking it and keep smoking it. Once you get high and you just keep doing that like that, you don't know what you're doing. It's like when you drink and you're in a blackout and you keep drinking. So it's lasting. Each time he buys that stuff, it seems like it's lasting longer and longer. Okay, so that's way better than marijuana. It's just like I came up with what I think he thinks he came up with, and then he asked the psychiatrist about it. So that is actually working. Um, so anyway, the other thing will be paid off pretty quickly. What, babe? They put different toilet paper in. I was wondering, if you don't usually go camping, by the way, the other campgrounds don't have toilet paper like that. Okay. I don't know if they've got some sort of septic system here and that's why they're doing it. I wouldn't assume they're doing it to save money. It could be some sort of biodegradable toilet paper because if it's an old septic system, yeah, it's made to like dissolve, and when you pull it, it just breaks. Yeah, so for the workers, they must hate this stuff too at this point because it leaves a mess all over the place because it's constantly breaking when you're trying to pull it, and it's a big, huge roll. That's why it's doing it. You know those big, huge rolls they put in, and there's so much weight that it doesn't. Yeah, I don't think they're trying to save money. I think it's probably that.
I think it's just whatever somebody ordered.
Yeah, the Pearl Hill, Harold Parker, and Wampatuck don't use our toilet paper. We didn't have any of those problems. This is my little personal beef, by the way. In a sense, it's not really like severe, but I was telling Brian this morning. I go, I don't mean to sound like I'm obsessed with toilets, but it started at Wampatuck. I noticed it. I couldn't figure out if someone had, because I've seen people with various issues. I didn't know if someone had some issue where they wanted to know if somebody used a toilet, because how do you leave toilet paper in an automatic flushing toilet? How does that happen? It wasn't, it was happening at Wampatuck constantly. There's a button you push. There's a button you push. Okay. And then it wasn't really happening here until just recently. So I don't know if it's got something to do with children. Did they not activate the flusher? Yeah, just things that are curious to me because I go, why does this keep happening? Every time I come in here, there's just toilet paper.
For me, it flushes before I'm even done.
Yeah.
It moves
And
straight away.
this one has a sign on it that explains to people that there's a button, right? Because it works for me. I don't even have to do that. Yeah. I just, you just do what you do. You stand up and step away from the toilet and it flushes. So that's why I was like, is someone blowing their nose or something and sticking it in there after the toilet flushes? How is the toilet doing that? And like you mentally, like you don't go, why didn't it flush and like look for a button? They all have buttons beyond the sensor. Yeah. The one at Smith Center, I don't know if there's a button, but you have to sort of keep putting your hand in front of the sensor and moving it or cup it.
Cup it.
Brian said if you cup it with your hand, it flushes. I usually wash my hands. That you get the paper that comes to dry your hands, which they have awesome stuff there. It's like Scott's, and then I put that in front of it so I'm not touching it with my hand, and it flushes. Or like you sort of like weave it down over it while you're cupping it, and it flushes. Yeah, because that one just will not flush on its own. It's very rare when you just step away from that toilet that it flushes. But yeah, just a thing. It's a public toilet, so when you get up, don't you get up and look and see if you have to push a button or it flushes, or do you like not even think about that anymore when you? I don't know if it's part of brain disease where it, it, the ones that you have to flush, I figured they think it's an automatic and they just walk away from the toilet. But I know stuff from Tommy that some people they forget from the time they do that till they stand up about anything to do with the toilet. They forget, like they're a kid. From that amount of time, their brain isn't telling them now you flush the toilet. I'm not kidding you. Okay, so I usually get up and turn around and I see how the toilet flushes. Yeah. And then once I know it's that type of toilet, if I'm in the same place for 2 weeks, every time I stand up, I wait for the toilet to flush before I leave the stall. And then I don't put more toilet paper in it. It's not really a complaint, I guess, is what I'm saying, but you just go, how is there toilet paper here? It was like every time I went into the bathroom at Wampatuck. At that place I went, are they doing that so they know if they have to clean it or not? Like I guess that's not a good method of knowing, because when you only have like two people camping and every day after 11 or whatever the time of the day they clean the bathrooms, I'm sorry, it doesn't have to be after 11, but when they clean the bathrooms, right? Right. Why would you want to keep cleaning toilets that aren't even dirty? I can understand that. Like if you went, okay, now I'm putting this here and I'll know if somebody used it. I don't know if that works because people are just putting toilet paper in there, just so you know. I've seen it and you just go, yeah, it became like every time I had to use the bathroom at Wampatuck. And it was almost like you would know when those campers left because then it stopped. One thing I've noticed, I don't really recall if my children did this, and we spent a lot of time basically just in the house or as a family unit, so I don't know. I can't say for sure they didn't do this, but it's something I've noticed since being here. Um, it might have something to do with how you're bringing them up. I don't know because if you noticed it and it's annoying you, it must. One day, Brian was eating a banana, okay? And then, like 5 minutes later, this little kid is asking the mother that they want bananas. That's a behavior that you need to put a stop to. Yeah, in like your parenting, if you see your kid doing that, it's happened like three separate times, right? They'll see us doing stuff, and then they start asking the person they're with why they're not doing that. Then what? Someone was asking why they don't have a campfire going right now. Someone asked about some kind of food or something. Yeah, that is like I think I would remember if my kids did that because I notice your kids doing it and it's like creepy. It reminds me of Barbara Kent. Yeah, so when they go to school and stuff, look out. They're gonna watch a TV, they're gonna go to school, everything everybody has, they're gonna come and tell you they need and want. That should make sense. So I would say my kids didn't do that. They never were asking me for things. They never were asking me for things. They had a Christmas list at Christmas time. They were allowed to put 10 items on, and that's it. They couldn't ask Santa for more than 10 things. And it got to the point where they couldn't even think of 10 things. That's just how my children were raised. Yeah. You go to the grocery store, they can pick out one item each at the grocery store. That's it. Stuff like that. Like you take them out somewhere, they don't behave, they're not going out somewhere anymore. And you actually do it at least for a period of time. They listen. Yep. I had a pediatrician once explain to me, she goes, when you start to get to the point where you're going to cave into them, don't cave into them. They learn. If they have to hound you 10 times to get what they want, they will hound you 11. Get it? But when they say that they hound you 11 times and you still say no, they won't do that behavior anymore. And I had a neighbor once and I witnessed it. Her daughter was like 12 or 13 years old. And she would literally have like a 2 year old's temper tantrum until she got what she wanted because that's what she learned to do. And it worked each and every time. Each and every time she got what she wanted by that behavior, even at that age, she was still doing it. I don't know. Like, I'm so far removed from it now when I'm older, like how I would handle it. Like, just, okay, I want you to stop paying so much attention to what other people are doing. Okay, it's rude. Like, it's rude. You're embarrassing me. We just walked by there, and now you're asking for a banana because you saw them yeah, eating a banana. And not only you asking for it, you're saying it loud and they can hear you. Yeah, that behavior is not appropriate. Okay. Remember, if everybody jumped off the bridge, would we do it too? Okay. Stop worrying about what other people are doing. That one will be asking for a minivan with a kayak on it next. Yeah, that's scary. I think I would know if my kids were doing that. Yeah, that's definitely thunder. Is it 11 yet? 10:15. I guess after it's supposed. I know it's 1 o'clock. I guess after this rain thing, I'll take a shower and wash out at least my underwear, socks. I was gonna do it before it started raining, but I'm just sitting here relaxing because we don't get to do any of this. I was thinking about it this morning. I of course had to get up to use the toilet, and then I went back to sleep for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Just I was telling Brian yesterday, maybe I'll just start taking a nap in the afternoon because I literally cannot ever do that. Literally, we cannot lay down in the daytime. And then at nighttime, you have to try to find a place. And then I saw that it's going to rain, of course, the very night and the next day that we're done camping, it's going to rain. I don't care about raining when it's camping. My tent is waterproof. I mean, if it went on for days and days and days, we've been through that too. It rained, it downpoured at Harold Parker for 2 days in that tiny blue tent. 2 days straight, like a literal downpour. We sat in that tent. So we've been through it. And I will say this though, in Almighty God's way of doing things, there was a small break in the morning, and I came out and I actually got a fire started to boil water to make my coffee because that's when I had to boil it with the bread pan. That I specifically remember. And then it rained again the whole rest of the day. Because that's when, yeah, some people must have had mad flooding because that was Site 30. There's no flooding going on in Site 30. If you're ever worried about that, then you need Site 30 at Harold Parker. Like I'm telling you, 2 days of straight rain and no water was collecting anywhere. But if you go over how everybody wants that lake view and nobody can book a week or 2 weeks there because of these weekend people, just know this: it all floods. We spent a week there. It all because that when you go like this and the ground is hard and it's nothing but ants all over the place, and you see those clear spots and you go, "Oh, that might be a good place for the tent." It all fills up with water when it rains, and it didn't even rain that hard. Yep, and it didn't rain for a long amount of time either. And I go, "Whoa! Could you imagine if we were in this site when we were in Site 30?" I literally had to go out and start digging trenches with a pair of scissors to get water away from the tent before it started floating away. It didn't come in the tent because it's waterproof. It didn't come in the tent because it's waterproof, but it started making these mad puddles around it. There's a wicked bad flooding at Pearl Hill too. What campsite did we have? Seven? Pretty sure we had 007 at Pearl Hill. So if it rains there, that site is, oh yeah, just big, huge puddles. But this is the thing. Once it stops raining, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, it soaks into the ground. It's because it's raining and doesn't stop raining, and the ground is so hard, it can't get all the water right away. Right. So digging those holes did help. It actually got some of the water to go down faster and it got it away from the tent. So yeah, if you're camping and you know your tent is waterproof, okay, and you're hanging out in it, you might want to peek your head out at some point and see what's going on. Yeah, if it's raining that hard for I don't know 2 hours, just peek your head out and go. You watch, it's probably going to happen to us now because it hasn't rained since we've been here. Go. Okay, I'm not sure if that's going to be a problem, babe. This was before we bought the second tent. I'm not sure if that's going to be a problem. So I just took the scissors and started doing it. I know some people with the dirt and stuff too. Yeah, I just be happy to transition into another form of life. If you're that scared of bugs and dirt, just I mean, if a bug bites you or stings you or a snake bites you or something, sure. But I mean, it looks like there's a piece from the tree in it. Okay, take your fingers and take it out. It came from the tree. It's not dirty. Dirt is black. Yeah, dirt is black. Yeah, dirt is dirt, and dirt washes off too. I wouldn't want to eat dirt either. Yeah, I usually go and wash. That's what's good about being here. It's almost like Harold Parker, but it's a bathroom and not a water thing. They have like a water thing, and they, yeah, Site 30. I'm pretty sure did too. It's almost like every site. It's a wooden thing with the water, right? And then I could put a bar of soap on top of the wooden thing. And you just go over there and wash your hands and go right back to what you were doing. It's good for cooking. So here I go right into the bathroom because they have soap in the bathroom. There's a wash station too, but I'd have to bring soap with me. No, not with like food all over my hands. I'm saying, say I did chicken and I wrap it up in the tinfoil, I go wash my hands and then I can do continue the rest of the stuff. That's what I mean. Um, yeah, just if you become like we half the time are sleeping with some sort of like pine needles and stuff because we don't have one of those little brooms. Some of it is because of access to Dollar Tree and funding, because and apparently it's something that God didn't think we actually had to have because we would have had it if He thought we had to have it. I was gonna get one of those little brooms with the dustpan so I could keep sweeping and taking the stuff out. We take our sneakers off as soon as we get in the tent. We used to leave them outside the tent. Yeah, why did we stop leaving them in the tent all the time? We probably just forgot. Our sneakers, we used to take them off right at the threshold, except when it rained. Yeah, I think we just because we were in a situation where it was raining and then we just kept doing that. We used to leave them just outside the tent, except when it was raining. And this tent has a little pocket that you put your stuff in. Yeah, you can actually um, take off. You could take off your shoes either out on the threshold, and because it opens on both sides of the tent, and then you put them in there. You can access it from inside the tent and outside the tent. It's for like your sneakers or an umbrella, so you don't have to bring it in the tent. Yeah, $50 Walmart. Yeah, definitely worth the $50. So just like the cooler. Obviously, he felt we were going to need that cooler, so someone left it for us, which was really nice. Oh yeah, didn't I say I was going to plug in one of my chargers? Unless it's not even empty yet. Oh, that's trash. Oh, that's right. I got to bring the trash up before it rains too. Okay, I'm looking for this. I'll find out if this is done.
He's going to live out his days in retirement here, getting fed his favorite food, having a lovely, clean, spacious tank, and having folks get to look at him. Lobsters can actually come in all kinds of colors, including calico and cotton candy pink. It really is beautiful. So hopefully it's somewhere where it's on display and people can look at it. And it lives on. Yeah, lives on. Let's head on the news station. Rob Gronkowski is taken back after running multiple games with an unnamed
Have you heard?
Did you hear? This is incredible. You lower prices at Shaw's. They have lowered hundreds of prices on items you buy the most. See all the new lower price tags aisle after aisle and save on all your grocery essentials. And did you hear this? For more value and more savings, shop new lower prices at Shaw's. In store, online, and on the Shaw's Deals and Delivery app. Go shopping, get rewarded. Possibility means you have a chance.
Passion opens the door to all possibilities.
When I feel like anything's possible, I feel kind of giddy. I want to be an astronaut. No, I want to be an actress. To be seen final their country.
All I need is a backpack and a pair of shoes, and I'll find a way.
I'm able to do anything I set my mind to.
I never felt like more things are possible than right now.
In the right shoes, anything's possible. DSW. Count shoes at brand-worthy prices. Imagine the possibilities. Lots of excitement there. Gronk just unveiled a new training facility at Boston College High School. The former Patriots tight end and four-time Super Bowl champion met with the students there yesterday. The nearly $50 million facility features state-of-the-art equipment. Gronk cut the ribbon to officially open it. The first order of business was a bench press competition with the football team. Sabrina Carpenter back with a new album. Her album, Man's Best Friend, dropped today, and it features the song Man Child, which hit #1 on the charts in June. This comes just over a year after her debut album, Short and Sweet. Ariana Grande is going on tour. She announced her 2026 Eternal Sunshine Tour yesterday. It's her first time on tour since 2019. She's going to play 2 shows at TD Garden next July, and tickets go on sale September 10th. Looking forward to it. Yes, good. Much more still to come. Melanie tracking an unsettling end to the work week. Yeah, some scattered storms around today, but then the rest of the weekend, it's great to be outside, and it's dry for us. We'll talk more about the forecast next. And a local family is demanding answers. A new report uncovers failures in tracking a bus driver tied to a deadly crash. And how Framingham police arrested a suspect wanted for murder in Ohio. The news station will be right back.
If you have a news tip we'd like to know, email us at newstips@whdh.com or call 1-800-280-TIPS. Have you heard?
Did you hear? This is incredible. You lower prices at Shaw's. They have lowered hundreds of prices on items you buy the most. See all the new lower price tags aisle after aisle grocery essentials. And did you hear this? For more value and more savings, shop new lower prices at Shaw's. In store, online, and on the Shaw's Deals and Delivery app. Go shopping, get rewarded. Just about 7:30 now. Happy Friday, and thanks for sticking with us. I'm Juliana Baza. And I'm Amanda Crawford. We've already had quite the mix of weather this morning, taking a live look outside. Plenty of clouds, but then you'll have some bursts of sunshine as well, and that's what we're looking at for today, Melanie. Today is going to be a wet one for us. We've got scattered storms around, and some of the stronger storms can produce some gusty winds and even some small hail. It will feel a bit different for us today. A big gusty high temperatures just leaving out mainly in the 70s. We look at radar and satellite right now, watching the cell that continues to move off to the northeast. Right now, currently just near Bridgewater, and you travel a little bit further down to the south and west, right over the Rhode Island area. That's where we have some more of these storms that are developing. We'll watch as that continues to move off to the northeast and evolve. Now you look at when we still have that threat that it could get under one of these storms. Say it's storming the entire time, but off and on we will have these storms. We will want to be weather aware, and then we're clearing things out as we go through the overnight and into today's early weekend. We'll talk more about that right now. Drive-by danger and break-in. Security cameras captured the moment a car sped off when gunshots were fired inside the Vortex Foundation after the witness. Well, Amanda, that quiet neighborhood was rocked by the violence. People who live in the area say incidents like this just don't happen there, and now they're on edge. Frightening moments in Drake when gunfire rang out around 4 a.m. Saturday morning. This photo from a home screen. At first, I thought it was like a motorcycle or a car backfiring, but it didn't quite sound right. When officers arrived, they found a dozen shell casings on Barnum Road near Robert Street. Honestly, it's scary. It's scary that something like this doesn't happen around here. Nearby, a chilling discovery. A person found several bullets struck their home. At least four were found inside on the dining room floor and in an upstairs hallway. Police say no one was hurt, but the whole situation left people who live in the area on edge. The neighborhood's pretty quiet. The neighbors are really nice. Um, but yeah, like nothing like this has ever happened. Police say the bullets were fired from a light-colored car.
Just heard the shots. I didn't see anything. I didn't look outside. We had cameras. We checked the cameras. Our vehicles had cameras. They didn't catch anything.
2 days later, police rushed back to the same area after someone reported hearing more gunfire. Now people who live here hope police can identify whoever is responsible.
Well, I'm hoping they get caught. That was real stupidness.
And police are asking anyone with information to come forward. Juliana? Amaka, thank you. An independent report is finding failures in how the city of Boston and its school bus company tracked the records of a bus driver involved in a deadly crash earlier this year. 5-year-old Lentz Joseph was hit and killed by a Boston school bus in April after he got off it. Mayor Michelle Wu says the driver's certification expired the day before, and neither the bus company, Transdev, nor the city knew. Lentz Joseph's father and cousin were at a city council hearing on Thursday, where city leaders attempted to get answers about how the crash happened, and the city and the bus company's policies. Mayor Wu and city councilors are calling for accountability and change.
Oh yeah, this thing. I guess
Our
that doesn't
overview
matter because
and
I
our
usually use
understanding of
that
the
as my
facts
fire
as they have
stick anyways.
emerged make it clear that the driver involved on April 28th had been on the road that day.
I put some leaves in a bag and I gathered up a little bit of kindling and I put that air mattress over it. I noticed the rangers put those orange things back up. I think it's so that people on the trails don't cut through these campsites. No, someone had taken them down. I noticed it when I was walking through the trails. I could see that they had those up and then someone took them down. Someone put them back up. Sometimes there's new stuff and sometimes you didn't see it because you weren't supposed to see it because you needed it now with the kindling. Like I just see another piece up there right now. Oh, I might have left that there because sometimes I can tell like an animal made a home there and I just leave the stuff alone. Yeah, there's like a big pile or something up there. Sometimes I think that they come and just push up all the debris up here to clear the campsite. They must have done that when the season opened. Sometimes it's that, and sometimes it's the animals making a home there. Depends. Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff here I didn't see before. Brian and I didn't know there was a water spigot at Pearl Hill at first. And then all of a sudden we go, oh my God, there's the water thing. It had to be within a day or something because, yeah, we were probably like, where the heck is the water? Maybe we were walking to one wicked far away or something, and then we found one closer. God has his way of doing things for a reason. So anyway, I have this. I didn't put it under the tent, but I can use it to cover up wood because it's hard enough to get fires going here anyways. Usually no. Unless it's that firewood that people pay for, I don't usually do this, no. I tried it once with this thing that I got from Colleen at the church. It's not waterproof. I think it's just for shade, so I use it to try to shade up the supply tent in the sun. This thing may actually work. I have no idea. I've never plugged it in to see if it blows up. It's huge too. It's like at least a queen. I kind of doubt it. Yeah, I'll probably go right back in the dumpster because that's heavy to take with us. And then you go, yeah. In the past, I needed it. I thought for the tent. That's what I used before I found out this tent's waterproof too. But I still put stuff on it. This is why. Like, I think it's pretty waterproof except for the top because that's where it's vented. Um, Once the pole broke, and like because it can't stretch out all the way, if there's like a little bit where the water collects, water came in that corner. Okay. I noticed something happened where, oh, it's still, did I put tape on this? No, I did not. All right, so this has got to go over here. I noticed it's got to be from um, something I put in there, like the dolly or something, and I didn't realize that it put a little hole in it. I know, it sucks. I hate that. I don't know if I have another clip. I have a roll of scotch tape. Everything happens for a reason. We found it somewhere. It's like not scotch tape, like clear moving tape. So anyway, that I noticed water coming in there, where it like accumulated, and then the front zipper part. So I usually make sure I have like something that goes all the way to the ground here and all the way to the ground in the back. And the sides are usually fine. It's just, I don't know what that is, something about how the rain falls or something. This one, you just put that green thing on and it's totally waterproof. I don't know if over time they deteriorate and rain starts to come in. So honestly, that someone said something about can you buy that spray and spray your tent with it and make it waterproof? I guess you could try that, yeah. If you don't have the $50 to get another one, or you found one, but then you noticed a little water coming in, you could try that. I don't know how much that spray costs though. Bye, babe.
Your couch, nigga. Fuck your couch.
Hi. How's it going? I'm just talking on the live stream to myself. Yeah, he's just like, yeah. I know I've noticed over the past 3 days just, well, then I don't talk your head off, babe. So I put some oh, I already told you by telling him. I don't usually do that either, but like, because I'll just dig into the pile till I get to dry leaves, or I will literally pick up an individual leaf by itself. That's what I do if you're asking. I don't usually do this, but this place is kind of like, it, I think it rained for a day or two before we got here, and just combined with the fire pit, just stuff does not want to burn. Last night, that thing, you just keep putting leaves on it. Just keep putting leaves on it if you have to cook with leaves, because that thing won't make a flame. It's just, yeah, they got plenty of leaves here. So, yeah, should get my bag out. I think it's actually, is it in the tent I just fortified? Probably. Constantly back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, unclipping, clipping, unclipping, clipping, constant. Right? Yeah, like something has gotten it into my head, and it's probably because I don't want a million things in the tent we sleep in. I just keep putting my bag with my clothes and my toothbrush and everything in this tent because it's a supply tent. Now we got to do this again. Are you done with the coffee, babe? You don't have to be. I'm just asking because I'll put it in here before it rains. Now the sun's out again. Is it still on? Now the sun's out again. All right, what is the bag I'm looking for? I see it right there. Okay. It's one of those things where sometimes I'm usually pretty organized. So sometimes I get like more organized and then it will be sort of like unorganized for a day and then I organize it again. It's a little bit crowded right now because I put that wood up on top so it doesn't get soaked with rain. Well, I guess because of the towel, I wouldn't take a shower before it rained because I was saying to Brian first earlier I go, I might as well still just take my shower and hang my underwear up there, my socks, because they'll just dry when it stops raining, but not a towel. I think it must be the same towel, like I actually did keep it. But what happened is I didn't have a rope then and I was putting it on the picnic table to dry. So it rained and I left it there and it became so sad. I mean, it was like heavy wet with water. And then I'm just like, I don't know why I did that. And I didn't even have a rope. So it never completely dried, I think, the rest of the time we were camping. And then it actually got dirty. It rained so hard. And that's the site with by the lake. It's a lot of dirt there. It got dirty just sitting there in the pouring rain. So Now when it rains, I actually take the towel in. Whether usually when the stuff is dry, I take it all off there. I don't leave it hanging there like that. I put it there to dry, and when it's dry, I take it off. The washcloth thing is usually there that I wash the dishes with, and the table with is usually on there. I've noticed some people leave those things, and I don't know if it's the way they're tying it on the tree, or they just go, "I'll just leave it for someone. What are we gonna do with that?" These people left nothing, so they must have burnt all the wood they had. Yeah. I don't even know if they set a tent up. A little bit longer, and then I'll put the coffee stuff away. I said a little bit longer, and then I'll put the coffee stuff away because I wasn't sure if you were done with it or not. I don't want to rush you. I bought light cream. All this time, I forgot that I could have just bought light cream, but actually, I couldn't because it was so hot. But figured I'd get light cream, so it was $3. So that's gonna go back in the cooler, and then the other stuff goes back in the tent. I don't like a lot of shit hanging out on the table. That bottle's back and forth. Oh, the trash. I sat down again, and then I remembered another thing. Other stuff I might do, right? Like, cause you think of things probably each time you go camping is some kind of tablecloth. My mother used to do that. But then you've got to worry about making sure it's secured down because it does so doesn't blow away. Um, I washed this. Yeah, I haven't noticed anything being dirty from the table. Have you, babe? But if you wanted to like sit at the table and eat and stuff, you might want to like a plastic one. But make sure you bring like buy one that's way bigger than the table, and then you can cut the corners and tie it so it doesn't blow away. Or just some of them come like with elastics at the corners, just for picnic tables. That would be cool. Something you can wipe down. If you want cloth, I guess, but it's gonna get wet, and dirty. It's camping. I've noticed these picnic tables dry wicked fast after it rains too. It's whatever this paint, the sealant and the paint is they use. So a tablecloth wouldn't be heavy, so maybe I guess it has. I don't think it's really bothered us. A percolator, yeah, right, babe? Percolator. Probably. It seems like even with Social Security, this is basically going to be like our life. So I was looking at those trailer things today, but again, you have to have a vehicle to pull the thing. Um, most of them have way more sleeping than we need. Um, there was one that was like 7 grand, and then there was one that was 9 grand. That's probably based on financing. Say you weren't going to finance it, you could probably get a lower price. They want 20% down. The thing that was 7 grand, supposedly with 20% down, is $49 a month. And then the other thing was like 70 something bucks a month. I would if you're a person who has been waiting for a housing voucher forever and you're finally starting to accept they're never going to give it to you and you get Social Security. That's a house. Do we really care? If you were gonna almost take an SRO or almost take one of those studios or almost take a tiny apartment and you're still gonna pay $250 a month plus electricity and cable, yeah, like it depends on what it's actually gonna cost to like park that thing somewhere. I would think if you're that's why I think some of this stuff is not gonna even be a factor for us. Unfortunately, we'll be anchored one place even though you're living in a trailer because that's probably the cheapest way to do it. Either a manufactured house community or a trailer park. That's probably the cheapest way to do it because everybody's getting the RVs now and they're driving around and they're vacationing and they got all the whistles and bells. It's probably the cheapest way to do it is just an old fashioned trailer park where it's just a trailer that sits there. And I would assume you rent the lot, like that's your rent. Yeah. And then you buy a trailer and put it there. And some people probably sell them. It's just based on stuff I've seen. Like they allow them to sell it, and then you rent from their person who owns the land in their own mind. I have to throw that in there, but it doesn't mean I'm trying to get like angry at the landlords. No, just they're giving you some sort of, I guess, sense of protection because if you have a landlord, someone isn't going to come and tell you to get out. Right. So most of these people have bigger and brighter pipe dreams. They don't need to bother people living in a trailer park. We're trailer trash. Like you're jealous now. We're trailer trash, right? That could be the salvation to the problem, as long as those people are not greedy fucks. Okay, like yeah, I guess it depends on what they're giving you. Because some of these things you hook up to water, they have a dump station, you hook up to electricity. Um, that's housing. Even in the winter, that's housing. Yeah. So some people like just whatever you do, always act like living in a trailer is the worst possible thing you can do. Not don't say that the things are violent stuff because then I'm not going to want to live there. But just I'm happy if people think I'm trailer trash and that's terrible and they don't want to live like that because it wasn't working with public housing. They still won't give us public housing because they control it. That's part of the government. This is the United States of America. A person owns a piece of land, they turned it into a trailer park, and they rent it to you. That's not the government. You use your DTA cash, or you're probably going to need Social Security. Your Social Security, unless someone gifted you the trailer, you have to pay the rent. I don't know what it is. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to sometimes look this stuff up. And one of the things they're doing is they're turning them all into 55 plus communities. That's fucking insane. That problem is solved come May of 2026, by the way. That's less than a year away. So, anyway, come May of 2026, I can live in one of those. I'll be 55 years old. So, I don't have children either, and I don't have dogs or cats. I don't have any pets. So, hopefully, I won't be smoking. My husband smokes. We don't smoke inside of a trailer. We wouldn't be doing that. But, anyways, um, yeah, just like the carnival ships. You don't want to do carnival. It's ghetto. You don't want to live in a trailer park. I guess you want those RVs. You want to pay. You want to pay $75 a night to spend Thanksgiving in a cabin on a state park. Out of all fairness, you want to get housing vouchers. You want to live at Faxton Commons or Quincy Commons, and you get a swimming pool. You get a fitness gym. You want public transportation. You want to be able to still get to the city, stuff like that. That's what you want. All the media people, all the people that do that stuff online. That's what people want. You don't want to take carnival. because all the ratchet people go there, right, babe? You don't want to live in a trailer park because we're all trailer trash. What are they gonna do that too? You got a house, you got a trailer in your driveway, you got a pop up tent, you got 4 trucks, and now you're gonna buy a trailer and take up space in a trailer park, so the prices there go sky high. You'd have to have a landlord that's willing to do that. Right, you took control of HUD, you took control of all the public housing, you're printing yourself vouchers, you're getting all kinds of communities built because of the MBTA communities. You don't need to worry about the losers in the trailer park. You stopped people from camping and living on a campground even in the summer, so you don't need to worry about losers in a trailer park. No, because now the projects is the place to be, not a trailer park. I'm serious. Now the projects is the place to be, not a trailer park. That's where the losers live. Probably some of them have cars, but you just like, yeah, make fun of people on that too. Start to look at this. I mean, and for another $50 a month, they could have a full on RV that they drive around, and they could what do you call it? Roam the land piece and stuff. And now they're stuck in the trailer park because it doesn't drive anywhere. I wonder what type of requirements they have to have the trailer on it, like the people you rent the lot from. I could see why you have to have certain functions because if they don't want you to have a fire pit to cook on or a Coleman stove. Yeah, if they don't have a bathroom, then they might require you to have one that has a working shower in it. Some of those people are probably landlords too, renting the things out. They just rent the trailer and the lot. Nope, people can't just live anymore. Nope, people can't just live anymore and they can't have regular work. They all have to be property owners because that's a tree. That's a whole clan group. A whole trailer park is your clan group and they rent from you. That makes you important. I don't think I'd even want to live at one of those apartment complexes that has all that stuff. I lived in a pretty nice condo that my friend owned, and she let me live there with a very, very small rent that had a swimming pool. It didn't have a fitness center, but it was Florida too, and it had an in ground pool. That was pretty cool. Yeah. I wonder what they don't think anything, I'm sure. These people that are getting the Father Bill's vouchers and the vouchers, and it covers their utilities, and then they just sit there and they get to use their rest of their money for whatever they want. What do they think about people that are families living in trailers? What do they think of that? That's why they're sitting where they're sitting at. I'm seeing the handwriting on the wall, and no, they're not doing it on purpose for our benefit. Yeah, the handwriting in the wall is we're not going to be living here, just like I told you. This has got to be, if we even make it through the whole winter, this has got to be the last winter that Brian and I spend here. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if we get Social Security, I mentioned it a bunch of times, we are not staying. We tried to leave Massachusetts in the fall of 2024. We were forced back here. It wasn't even about the money. They would not let us into a shelter, and that's why they do it, because they know you'd live there with no income, and eventually Florida has to give you benefits. That's why they do it. That is why they wanted people not to have Social Security, even when you qualify for it. They don't, because you're not trapped in an area like a hostage. Oh, believe me, you have no worries about us moving to Orlando. Brian doesn't even like Florida at all now because of that experience. Like, that's done on purpose, and then we report it to everybody. You just don't live in the city of Orlando. There's other places in Florida. I didn't live in downtown Orlando. No, I lived in over by OBT once at this place called the Greens when we first moved there. Then we lived in Dr. Phillips, and then we started building houses. Never would I live in downtown Orlando. No one lives in downtown Orlando. It's for tourists, and the place is disgusting. It's a pit. I would think someone visits that place once and never goes back again. Al and I went down there once to see what it was, Church Street and all this, and we go, "What is this? Like, it's like worse than Pleasure Island." It never picked up as a tourist trap because it's like stupid and it's unseemly. Yeah, just it never picked up as a touristy area. I lived in Florida for 17 years, so I'm somewhat familiar with it. People aren't looking for that in Florida. Nope, they're looking for either a beach or they're looking for Magic Kingdom. That's what they're looking for in Florida. They're not looking for that. You go to like Vegas, you go to New York City, you go to Boston, you go to Nashville. Yeah, you don't go to Orlando to go to a bar room. None of it's cool looking either. Nope. You don't hear like cool music playing and stuff like in Nashville. And I don't like Nashville either. But at least they have music coming out of there, and there's people walking around, and they got the Country Music Hall of Fame and stuff. I thought Nashville was a pit too, and it smells. It just smells constantly like that old beer smell. Ugh. Been there a couple times. Maybe. Orlando's in the running for the dirtiest city I've ever been to, the dirtiest, grossest city I've ever been to. It's either Nashville or the city of downtown Orlando. The city, beautiful, not downtown Orlando. There are like aggressive males just roaming around attacking you there too. It's worse than Central. It's worse than Central. That's their territory down there. Sure, it's super duper hot there. Remember when the hurricane came and flushed all those trailers away that they put on Sanibel Island? As I'm like trapped in a room. Yeah, Hurricane Katrina. Keep mentioning that. Seemed to have money for a disaster at that point. Not a disaster of U.S. hostages, though, on the street being frozen to death. That's not a disaster where FEMA trailers are brought in and paid for.
Association Church had a practice that once the arrest began, they locked the doors of the church. There's no question that the fact that the doors were locked likely saved.
Right, babe? Remember that? Hurricane Katrina? I know you're younger than me, but. And they gave those people all those FEMA trailers and all that money.
The shooter left behind hundreds of pages of writing. There is a lot to digest.
I think most people know when they get on a story like this, like the shooter, and they just keep doing it, it's a distraction, right? I'm not even saying they're bad, but this stuff annoys me too. Do you just sit there going, okay, is there any other news? Not that they want to talk
The
about.
shooter expressed hate towards Christian people. The shooter expressed hate
Not
towards
that they want to
Christian
talk
people.
about.
In short, the shooter appeared to hate all of us. These November Fletcher was the person he was, and not the act that ended his life.
I think they went over the homelessness crisis and the illegal foreclosures for a long time, and you folks do not give a shit, so they're not going to talk about it anymore. Oh, yeah, it got to the point a couple of years ago. I don't want to hear anything about homeless people because it's just nothing but nonsense. Right. Remember all that? A voucher is a piece of paper, and then landlords aren't going to, it's all just a made up distraction. Just like you're not going to do universal health care. Okay. You're worried about SNAP cards, you're worried about illegal aliens. All of that is just a distraction. All of it. You're never going to stop opposing something, so they don't want to talk about it anymore. People are done asking what is going on with all these homeless people. We're done asking about it. So there's not a point to talk about it. And then wasn't it that they needed more and more money and more services and more jobs to help the homeless? We're done with all that. You're completely insane. You just house us. Right now, I have to ponder about this business with the vouchers because you don't want to do something out of like revenge. But you just go, why should anybody get a housing voucher? Some people that want the fuel shut off would probably go, are you gonna pay attention to this yet? Stop asking us. No, you answer our question. Why is this woman homeless and destitute still? Why is this going on? Yes, we're not going to talk about anything else. It's still ask M ask. Yep, it's still M ask. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes because it's true, but I don't know if it really is matters to be saying that. It seems mean. But sometimes you just go, say you're like these people that bought up land and you made like a private campground or you own cabins in Tennessee and you're renting them out. You're landlords. You own five of these things and your own residence. And then your wife and two of your three children end up getting cancer and you want to know why and you're angry and you go to somebody if they just went, why have you not given this person a place to live. What does that have to do with anything? We're telling you what it has to do with. We're telling you what it has to do with. She paid off the banks, and you means you. You're all the same people, whether you like it or not. Yep. If you own 5 cabins in Tennessee and you're making money off of that, and you have your residence, yeah, that's you. That is you. That is absolutely you. So you took my house when I paid off the banks. Somehow you have money. You have a house. You have 5 properties you're renting out. Why? Don't ask us why. We're asking you why. Why? So somewhere, some along the lines, you did something criminal. Obviously. Yep. Somewhere, some along the lines, you did something criminal because we all got foreclosed on after we paid off the banks. Why didn't you? They probably don't even ask. I think they know. They don't even ask. Can a government target a private citizen? All right, let's check. I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to go to a laptop because if you own 5 properties and your own residence, I'm sure you must have internet, right? So I'm going to pull up one of these, okay, and go. Um, can a government target a private citizen? Okay, let's see. No, this is your AI. No, a government in the US cannot legally target a private citizen for political or vindictive reasons, as this would violate constitutional protections. The government and its agents are bound by laws intended to protect citizens from harassment, discrimination, unreasonable searches, and other abuse of power. Law enforcement and intelligence activities against private citizens must be based on legitimate legal justifications, such as probable cause, and are subject to constitutional limitations and judicial oversight. Okay? What about crimes against humanity? Let's go. What are crimes against humanity? So when you shut off my social media because I have had an injustice happen to me, you're guilty. You're guilty.
See why more viewers watch 7 for late news than any other station.
Crimes against humanity are grave acts like murder, torture, sexual violence, persecution, and enforced disappearance, committed as part of a widespread or systematic attack directed against a civilian population. These acts do not require proof of intent to destroy a group, unlike genocide, and can occur during wartime or peacetime. The definition is laid out in Article 7 of the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court. Key characteristics: widespread or systematic. The attacks must be either widespread, large scale, or systematic. part of a coordinated plan directed at civilians. The attack must be against a civilian population. Intent. The perpetrator must have knowledge that their act was part of a widespread or systematic attack against civilian population. Wide range of acts. The definition includes a broad list of prohibited actions. Examples of specific crimes against humanity: murder, intentionally killing of members of a civilian population; extermination, causing widespread death, including by inflicting conditions of life intended to bring about destruction. So let's go over that one again. Including by inflicting conditions of life intended to bring about destruction. How am I gonna live here? How am I gonna get a bottle of water in the summer of 2020? Okay, torture, intentional infliction of severe pain or suffering; enforced disappearance, arrest or abduction by or with state involvement, followed by refusal to acknowledge or provide information on a person's fate. Ring, 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 ring. Father Bills, do you have Mary Lagore? You can't tell us that?
Storm threats today, not only the lightning as we go through the afternoon and evening, but if you get under some of these stronger storms, they are definitely capable of producing some strong wind as well as some small hail. So some threats we'll have to be weather aware of as we head through the rest of today. Here you can see our future forecast, and it's not going to be storming for one part the entire time, but you see the storms are off and on as we go into the afternoon. And again, through the evening, we'll continue this through tonight. Once we get through the overnight, this is all going to clear out of here, and then we'll continue to clear out overnight and set the stage for a nice start this morning. As far as rainfall totals go, this is
I'll be in a couple of minutes, babe. I gotta put a couple of things away. Ring, 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 ring. December, January of 2021 into 2022. Where is Mary Lagore? Oh, you can't tell us that? You can't tell us if Mary Lagore is at your shelter? Okay. You're guilty of crimes against humanity. Bye-bye. Because you moved Mary Lagore from a shelter into a hotel when she had no telephone, and you put me in a room with no telephone and no internet when other people at the hotel had internet. Yeah, you did. Someone set your hotel on fire, not once but twice, and the first thing the hotel tells you to do is call the front desk. The telephone did not work in that room. Ring, 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 ring. Is Mary Lagore there? You can't tell us that? Babe, your pipe's in the chair. This thing's already blowing off. I'm going to lose my mind. I guess I'll put this clip on that side because the wind isn't even blowing the other direction. It's always this side that comes off. Ignorance of the law is not innocence. And you've been told repeatedly that you're violating U.S. and international law. Repeatedly, and you don't care. Whatever. This is my United States of whatever. No one's meeting you folks out in a parking lot for you to murder us because you don't care about your job. You're guilty of crimes against humanity, and your president is seeking the death penalty. Oh, okay, that's because there's a clip here. There we go. I don't have to sacrifice that clip. Interesting words, yeah. No, Brian got these clips from the Dollar Tree that are magnetic, so I can use them in my storage. If I need to, when we're sleeping outside, I put down plastic bags and a plastic bag, so I can hang it up in my storage in the daytime so it dries. If it had rained and we're like laying on a wet ground. Well, I don't have the laptop now, but apparently that was enough because it's almighty. There's more things where it goes into more detail. Also, the fact that you refused to give me that COVID money that you gave everyone else, that's targeting me. In case you still go, I don't get how they're targeting you, though, just because Ron DeSantis' wife worked at the Golf Channel with your ex-husband. Why didn't you issue me the COVID money check? I filed taxes. You said you could not verify my identity because you're grossly criminally insane. It doesn't matter if I'm batshit crazy or not. Clearly, they've done this several times and more than just with me. I don't know if other people were literally put in a room in Quincy. They were told I didn't have a phone because I did not have a phone at that time, and I got a phone like a week before I moved into the room, and they didn't know that. Okay. No cell phone. Okay, there's some house phone on the first floor. They people in the house are getting internet. I'm told if I'm nice to the house manager, she'll give me the internet code because they're grossly criminally insane. That's like a warden, and I have to earn goodness with her to get an internet code. So they put me in a room during that time. That was 2019. Okay, same situation. And guaranteed if anybody called them, they wouldn't tell you if I was in their custody or not. So they're like multiple time re-offenders of crimes against humanity. Do you ever like roam around the streets of Quincy or scream at people that they have to go into one of these quote unquote shelters? You're guilty of crimes against humanity. I had a house and I paid it off. You forced me out of it. You forced me to a strange city. And then you forced me into the clutches of these deranged animals, fully knowing what goes on there. I mean, between the house in Dedham and the Ramada Inn and the room in Quincy and the shelter itself, how many times would that have to repeat before you stop the nonsense about this isn't crimes against humanity? It's not that these acts are not, what is it called? Egregious, outrageous, sickening. It's that you've become so sick that you actually can't see how disgusting those things are. You can't see it because you're so sick. Not things haven't gotten bad enough, or I don't know if this really reaches, crimes against humanity. You don't know what crimes against humanity are, so you need to look it up. Someone knows about this business about as soon as you find out what a voucher amount is, you raise your rent $1 over that. Someone knows that too. Also, every time people get an increase in SNAP food, you raise the price of your food. Someone knows that too, if that's actually per your laws. I would think you would have to hide in that because clearly, is terms of Almighty God, you're fucked, right? Okay, so I would think you'd have to hide in your laws and evidence. And do I still have the emails? Let's see. Do I still have the emails? Hmm. No, I do not still have the emails. So I guess you're gonna rebirth and go to heaven. Okay, bye. Next. Uh, I don't think that you go to prison when you're being nuked by thermonuclear weapons. What's the point of a prison? That costs money and stuff. Whatever. It's gonna start raining now. He actually brought the rest of the stuff in. That was good. I never brought the trash to the thing. It's in a plastic bag. Yeah, I guess maybe at least tie it up and just put it on the ground so it doesn't like blow all over the place. All right, let me shut this off for now.